All right. So start with who are you? Introduce yourself real quick.
My name is Kyle Beisel. I am your husband.
You are my husband. How long have we been together?
10 years.
It's 11, but
11
it's fine.
years.
We're doing a project where we're interviewing about family histories and just trying to get to know little things a little better. So I decided that I would talk to you about your family history because I've gone really in depth in my own. So I thought it would be cool to kind of get some of the same questions that I asked about my own family from you.
Sounds good.
Sweet. So the first question I have, which of your family members is the most recent immigrant, and where are they from?
So, on my mom and dad's sides, I think both of their parents
Okay.
came to America. Probably around the same time. I don't know who came first, but that generation.
Okay.
Both from America. So, dad's side is from Croatia. Mom's side is from Ireland.
Okay.
And I think my grandma's brother remembers living in Ireland. I don't think my grandma was born yet. I think she was born in America. But yeah.
Nice. Are there any cultural practices from those families that have come into our own family now as we start to raise our own kids and have our own life together?
A lot of family recipes.
A lot of food.
A lot of food. Povi, we make that a lot.
Yeah.
From Croatia. See, both sides are Catholic, so we are not.
We are not.
But values here and there, I think, are still
there. Can you think of like any specifics that that you see? We don't go to mass, but like, are there any like overwhelming things that have like kind of seeped into our family?
Big family.
Yeah.
Family values of like living very communally and taking care of people around you, kind of including others in your family that are nearby. Like the whole town is kind of part of your family.
Mm-hmm. I would agree that we do those things. Is it important to you that we continue this with our children and they someday pass kind of some of that on to their children?
Yes.
You want to elaborate on why that's important to you at all?
I don't know. I guess that's just, I don't know, how we grew up, very bonded to family, like second cousins and great aunts and uncles were just as close as brothers and sisters. So having that many people around, everybody looking out for each other and being there for each other, I think was really valuable, really important.
Mm-hmm.
We continue that with our families. I'd like to continue that with our children. And
yeah.
Hope that moves forward.
Looking back to our wedding, can you remember about what percentage of our guests were your family and extended family?
Over half, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was well over half.
Yeah. Yeah, people came from all over. A lot of my side.
Yeah, no, and
people I haven't seen in years, and oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a cool experience. That was a really cool experience for me to see such an extended family because I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alternatively, do you see a shift in our family values versus your parents and grandparents?
I mean, religion isn't as big as part of our family as it was for my grandparents, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't huge with my parents, but that's probably the big thing. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed any differences? I don't know.
I think your father's more bonded to his religion than your mom is at times. Like, I see him, like, get a little more defensive of his family's beliefs.
Okay.
I don't know. I think we tend to be a little bit more like driven by like educational and personal success that we count as like kind of extrinsic, and your family seems very like driven by like their successes in their family and in their relationships. That's my own like.
I
if
can see
had to
that. Yeah.
pick things.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the immigration stories of your grandparents?
I know nothing about that.
Okay, so you don't know. What did they do when they first came here? Like, do you remember? Like, do you know what they did to like make a life here with their kids and their families?
No, I don't. I know Grandma Beisel had like a small farm and like a meat locker. And I know they owned that. See, my mom's family lived in Council Bluffs, I think. They maybe lived in Iowa for a while. But I don't know what they did.
Mm-hmm. Back to them having these like really large families. They had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Your family seems to have like, each of your parents have. How many siblings?
Mom has 7 siblings. Dad has 3.
Okay. And their parents also had big family. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Lots and lots of siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything like what did their lifestyle look like? What did their kind of day to day, did they have a lot of money? Did they not? How did they make ends meet? What did their houses and homes look like?
I know more about my mom's parents than my dad's parents, but they lived in like was it Humphrey, and they were very very poor. I think they had like dirt floors, but 7 people,
Literal dirt floors.
Literal dirt floors, yeah. So what? There was 9, 10 of them in a house and shared a lot of space. Grandma was, I think, a stay-at-home parent for a lot of the time. Started working later on, but I think Grandpa was going to school. Later, he got into electrical engineering, and they made money later on in life. But while they were raising kids, they were pretty poor. But they took care of their community quite a bit. I know that Grandma and Grandpa were really, really, really giving and including to anybody in their town. Since it was a very Catholic area, there were like a lot of really strict Catholic rules, and people would sometimes get really pushed out of families for things like teenage pregnancy or things like that. And Grandma and Grandpa would take those folks in and share what little they had.
Very much valued that if we have enough for one more kind of philosophy.
Yeah, there's always room at the table. Yeah.
Do you know how long your family's been in Nebraska? In this, like, not necessarily Nebraska, Council Bluffs, Iowa. How many generations even?
I don't know. I don't think that my mom's parents lived anywhere except Iowa and Nebraska.
Okay.
As far as I know, but I don't know before that.
Okay. Are there any like common themes between generations? People say things like, "Oh, we have the family business is military service," so like every generation someone serves in the military, or like my grandparents were educators, so I became an educator. Those sort of things.
There's a lot of law on my mom's side. A lot of lawyers and judges and police officers. A lot of law. Military service is pretty scattered. It wasn't a tradition by any means, but it's about all I can really think of.
What about like gendered differences in that? What would Are there any kind of traditional gender roles that follow through your family, or even like gender expectations um, that you might see throughout your family?
I don't think it's throughout my family very common that um, the husband would like be working and mom would stay at home, or the husband would make like more money.
Mm-hmm.
For most of my aunts and uncles, grandparents and their brothers and cousins and family, wife typically makes as much money or more. It's pretty common, or split.
Mm-hmm. So then, what would you say like the role of motherhood has been made? Like, what does motherhood look like in traditionally in your family? Sorry, that wasn't on the list.
I don't know.
That question I prepped you for.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I don't know if there's a common role that I can really.
Yeah, I just wondered if you like, oh, all of the women do this, or all of the women. Like, I've seen so many moms raise their kids like this. Are there any like family stories that are like important for you to share with our children? Like,
I think I don't know. Probably any of the stories of just how giving a lot of my family has been, and open to people who don't have a good family system, a good support system. Um, that is a really important part of my family.
mm-hmm.
It's a really important value. So, yeah, there's a lot of stories like that I think are really important to share with our kids. I mean, just think about even with my own parents, how our house kind of became the hub for the kids whose parents weren't super accepting of who they were, or yeah.
Yeah. Can you think of any particular story to share?
Um,
You know, hold on to that, and we'll come back to it.
sure.
I would love to come back to it. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but would you say that the role of religion has really influenced your family's values?
Um, I don't know. That's never really been a huge part of our family values. My grandparents all went to mass, but religion wasn't really a part of our conversation or daily life that I recall. Um, I don't know. It's always been very family first, and but I don't know.
So would you consider religion more of a cultural experience or more of like a spiritual experience for your family?
I think probably cultural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, like a tie back to further generations, or just like a place to commune? What do you think it serves for them?
I don't know. It's not really anything I've ever really talked about or thought about. Um, yeah, I can see like a lot of like my grandma who's still alive still just gets a lot of comfort out of it, and it seems very much like um, this is mass and parts of services that she still goes to is just something she's done since girlhood, and very um, I don't know, connected to I don't know, her family, and I don't know.
Okay. Um, are there any religious or spiritual experiences or practices that you consider important, even though we don't practice religion, that you would like to see continue in our family? Holidays, meals, things like that.
I mean, Christmas.
Yeah. Why is celebrating Christmas significant to you?
I don't know. That was just always the time of the year when like all of our family would always get together. Just kind of a guaranteed time when everybody from out of town and I don't know, just guarantee that once a year we're all going to take some time to spend with each other and just enjoy each other's company and cook and it's not really about Christmas Day as much as it was like Christmas week when everybody's in town and catching up and just dedicating a little bit of time once a year to connect with everybody again.
Are there any non-religious like traditions or holidays that you definitely want to continue with our family?
Um,
These like national holidays, just historical events, things you want to recognize.
I don't know.
Well, that's all of my questions. So, we were gonna come back to um, family stories. Is
Okay.
there like a family story of your family being exceptionally giving or taking people in that you could think of that you want to share?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. The only like couple stories that come to mind right now, the one I said earlier, like my parents taking in or my grandparents taking in women that were pregnant out of wedlock and got really like outcast from their families and communities and was having space at the table. My parents were like that as well with like our friend group in high school and we had a lot of friends that were coming out as gay and lots of them had also had Catholic families who weren't so accepting and my parents really just gave them a space to be and a place to have dinner and sit at the table with a family and yeah, that was safe and loving.
Speaking of families, I think our son is sneaking down the stairs to come join this interview. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking your time to do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love you.